carousel of color. Wonderful, wonderful color.
Walt Disney presents
Wonderful world of color.
Magnificent, isn't it? Oh, hi! Welcome to my first behind-the-scenes video. My name is SpenjuCraft, and today you'll have the rare opportunity to take a close look at how everything works in my recreation of Disneyland's famous roller coaster type ride, Space Mountain. Now, this build started as something that I considered to be a very small project. I haven't built anything on Minecraft for a couple of months, and I wanted to get back to that hobby because I really enjoyed it. So I put out an Instagram story on my private Instagram asking what ride people wanted to see me make first, and they wanted Space Mountain. And at first I kind of toyed with the idea, made the initial mountain, and experimented with ways I could recreate the ride. But when all the Disney parks around the world closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, I knew I had to do this project. Not just for all the people that want to see it, but also for myself, for my well-being. Going to the Disney parks has almost been a religious experience for my dad and I, so being deprived of the one place that makes the both of us happy killed us. I decided to go full throttle on this project once quarantine fully begun, and everyone was stuck in their homes. This build is pretty much a 1-to-1 scale recreation of the popular Disney attraction. Absolutely everything is accounted for, such as the main entrance, the Fast Pass kiosks, the Tomorrowland theater next to the ride, the small outdoor seating for the pizza restaurant, the exit, everything. And since the parks are currently closed, many reference photos, videos, and even Google Earth scans of the building were used as reference to make the Space Mountain recreation look as accurate and as faithful to the one in Anaheim, California. No longer could I just go to the parks and take pictures inside the ride however I please, which is what I did for my Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion projects. And since I haven't actually been on the ride many times, recreating something that wasn't really a part of my memory and nostalgia proved to be a unique challenge. And even though I didn't have much nostalgia for the ride, one thing that I always remembered loving about writing it was the wonderful soundtrack by Michael Giacchino. Once you hear the music flying through space and blasting in your ears at whatever miles per hour, you really feel like you were in space. It's a beautiful and electrifying piece of music, and I enjoyed listening to it on its own as well as in my recreation of the ride itself. Now in terms of schedule, I suddenly got all this time when everyone had to stay home, so I kind of worked bombastically on this project. I worked first on the outside, which I actually had to resize 3 times due to not getting the scale right, and kind of just built everything else from there. Whatever I wanted to build first, I built it, and sometimes that involved working backwards and kind of connecting all the chunks of the ride together, but I found that method of work to be very efficient for me and my short attention span. Now, the special effects for this ride were both new and old to me. The particle effects, for example, for the stars and for the many lighting effects and synchronized music you see throughout the ride, is powered by a wonderful Minecraft tool called command blocks. Now, command blocks take up a majority of my time for these projects, and basically you can program whatever you want the game to do inside these blocks using the Minecraft programming language, which is simple but hard to master. And with the redstone system in the game, which basically resembles circuits and electronics, I can make every line of code activate in synchronization with the ride's music and with where the rider was in the ride. And while the effects were simple enough, the most difficult part was figuring out how to make the ride vehicles actually work, actually function. I usually use basic minecarts with each project, but I knew that I wanted to capture the velocity and the energy from the actual ride, so I couldn't use minecarts due to how stiff and jerky their turns and speeds were. So I downloaded this wonderful modification for Minecraft called Train Carts, which let me 3D model my own ride vehicles, which was actually a new experience, and have them do crazy things like lean at turns and fall and drop as I please. This mod single-handedly made the ride function almost exactly the same as it did in real life, because I can now be accurate with how the vehicles move, and I can actually have the actual track of the ride follow the same path as it does in real life. Also, as far as the 3D models go, that was something new to learn too. Some things that you'll find that are 3D modeled by me are the ride vehicles, the Space Mountain sign, and the trash cans, which yes, are accurate to the actual ride. And while there are so many other topics I can go in more in depth to, such as some of the new textures I made for the game, I want to close off this quick behind the scenes look with what I'm currently planning on doing with this build. And as you can see, there is an oh so familiar castle in the distance. Yes, I'm creating the entirety of Disneyland inside Minecraft. I'm totally taking my time building this entirety of the park, don't expect it in like a couple of weeks because I am not that fast. But considering Disneyland still remains closed, this is my way of coping with Disney withdrawal. So I've kind of been toying with the idea of how I could scale each of the buildings, where they would all be, and how everything would feel. The Disney parks, Disneyland specifically, have changed my life. Everything from my creativity, the way I look at the world, the way I consume media, my attention to detail, and my creative views on things like films and artwork have been influenced by the wonderful world presented at Disneyland. And yes, I know I can't work on this forever or even as a job, but for right now, I love what I do. And right now, it's filling a special place in my heart, a place that would have been filled if the parks were open. Well everyone, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for visiting my recreation of Space Mountain and my soon-to-be recreation of the Disneyland Resort. I hope to see you soon next time.